Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Cover It 2 podcast. As always, I'm your host, Lawson Turner, and the series is 2 games to none, with Game 3 being tonight in Dallas. But for the Boston Celtics, and bad news for them, Kristaps Porgingis is listed as questionable for tonight's game with a torn medial retinaculum, which is something in his knee, and it's the same knee that kept him out since the first round before his return back for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Now, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because Joe Mazzulla yesterday said that the injury is serious and they're taking the decision for him to play out of his hands. So that's a big deal because after the game he was asked, well, what of your injury, and are you gonna play in Game 3? And he said he'll die out there. Now he won't die, but they have taken the decision away from him to, oh, I'm gonna play. It doesn't matter if it's as serious as Joe Mazzulla said. It's a serious injury. Now, that's the thing, when they traded for Porzingis, and he did miss some time this year. I was a little skeptical, but the the ceiling in which as to why they traded for him last offseason is for the reasons why he's on the floor every night. Fantastic shot blocker. He's a 7'3" center or power forward who can, pull up from, 30, and he unlocks their 5-out offense to me. Not saying Al Horford can't do it, because in the games that Porzingis missed, we saw Al Horford come up and he hit 7 threes in a game against, in Indiana just last series. Now, he's for the finals, Kristaps Porzingis has only played about 22 minutes a game, scoring 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2.5 blocks per game over the first 2 games, and shooting very efficiently at 60%. And in both those games, he was a plus 25 when he was on the floor. That means Boston's outscoring Dallas by 25 points for, the entirety of the minutes that he's played in the finals. And I do think it's a big deal because, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier, to me, he's their X factor. You can't, not saying Al Horford's not a good shooter, not saying that he isn't the level of player Porzingis is, but in my opinion, he's just not. He's just not at this stage of his career. You can't expect Al Horford to be the trailer and take a, you know, crazy deep three from one step inside the logo. He's not going to do that. Al Horford's going to sit on the wing in the corner, maybe in the low block, and if their offense gets stagnant, try and dump him and see what happens. He's not the post player that Porzingis has been all year long. He was one of, if not the best post, scorer, not as volume but with efficiency for the entirety of the regular season. And I do think it's a big deal for Dallas because through the first 2 games, they kind of let Game 1 not slip away, but the better team was Boston over the first 2 games. In the first game, they beat the brakes off of Dallas, and in the second game, Dallas was right there nip and tuck, and the Celtics pulled it out. Now, what this does for Dallas is the rim in the lane. It's a little bit bigger now. It's a little bit bigger. You can, you not saying Al Horford's not a good rim protector, because he is, but he's not 7'3". You can't teach height and you can't teach speed. And not saying that Porzingis is fast, but those are two of the things that I can't teach Al Horford to be 7'3" and play at the height of Porzingis. I can't teach Al Horford to do those things that Porzingis does on the defensive end. I expect Al Horford to start, because they're not gonna throw Luke Cornett in the starting lineup now, are they? Um, I think it gives Dallas not life, but if they don't win Game 3 tonight, it's essentially over, because no team's ever come back from down 0-3. With Al Horford being out there more, it's going to lead Luka and Kyrie to matchup hunt just a little bit with Al Horford being, at this stage of his career, he's not quick moving his, he's not quick shuffling his feet, I should say, when it comes to, you know, getting a switch onto Luka at the 3 point line, getting or trying to switch onto Kyrie because Drew has done a fantastic job on Kyrie through the first two games. It's been fantastic. But if Boston's going to switch, or they're just going to say, Drew, you got to get over because Al Horford's not sticking with Kyrie, you know? So I do think this is obviously a big minus for the Celtics and maybe a mental exhale for Dallas. Like, okay, something's finally starting to not go our way, but it's just unfortunate the lack of injuries this postseason, especially in the Eastern Conference teams. Like we saw, no Giannis. We saw Porzingis miss, 2 rounds. Halliburton missed some games. Donovan Mitchell missed games. Jared Allen missed games. Like Damian Lillard even missed games. So it's like every series from an Eastern Conference team, someone is being dinged or out, and it's unfortunate for one end and fortunate for the other team, because in sports it is what it is. In, Injuries happen, and when we're talking about a player of Porzingis' caliber and his track record, he hasn't been the most durable guy, but when he's out there, he's fantastic. And that is my thoughts and concerns on tonight's game. I'm picking Dallas to win game three. I think that they'll have a good bounce back game, and everyone will come in tomorrow, and I'll put out a video tomorrow and saying, oh, does Dallas have life? Well, they also have to go back to Boston with it 2-2, because 3-1, we all know the story. Only one team has ever come back from down 3-1. But that is my thoughts and concerns on Kristaps Porgingis and the Boston Celtics regarding tonight's game three. As always, let me know your guys' thoughts, opinions, concerns as to who wins game three tonight in Dallas. And be sure to check us out on Twitter at the Cover 2 Pod 26. Link is also in the description to make it a little bit easier to find. As always, I will talk. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.